Today we're going to have a look at Zombicide Toxic City Mall expansion. What you get in the box. Component quality and review. As always with Zombicide, the rulebook, it has lovely illustrations as seen by the front cover and throughout the book, and it's clearly marked out everything that you need to know, such as the new toxic zombies and some pictures for you just to see some ideas of how to maybe you'd want to paint them, and the Zombivers, which is a new thing in this book, and I'll explain maybe in another video if you want me to go through the rules, and I'll explain all the new rules for it. Zombivers, I must remember that. I keep wanting to call them Zombievers, which so would be a bit different. So basically it means that your character, once they die, they can come back as a special zombie who can remember things and protect the others. Pretty neat, but barricades are good. Rubble, ultra red mode, which is a good mode, I like that. Stashing equipment, additional skills, and of course 10 missions to add to your ever-growing list of missions that you can do. So yes, it's very well laid out. I think the ultra red rules is brilliant. The toxic zombies are pretty cool. They add something that'll make it a little bit more difficult than just fighting normal zombies. I'm not that keen on the Zombivers. I just don't generally play with them. Ultra red is a brilliant idea, where once you get up to red you can use these really super special pieces of equipment, and that's really good. Rubble and barricades are okay. They don't add a lot to the game, but they add something. So yeah, in the new expansion, or the Toxic City Mall expansion I should say, we have Elsa, Derek, Nima and Raoul as new survivors, and the quality of card is exactly the same as we've come to expect from the base game. The characters are pretty good. Elsa is a cat burglar. Derek, a bit of a jack of all trades. He doesn't really give you anything I would say that's new, but he's pretty good. Nima is a leader, which is a pretty good thing, which gives other people actions if you want to spend one of her actions in order to give say person who's in trouble an extra action. And then Raoul, well, the one good thing he has got is medic, which is a pretty good skill to have. But also with these new cards, they have the Zombiver on the back of them. So those are the Zombiver versions of your characters. So yeah, that's the Zombiver. And like I said before, I will explain maybe in my next video about the new rules about these. But the one nice thing about this was they also gave you the original cards again, but with the Zombiver version on the back, which I thought was a nice thought. So they could have just left it and you would have been annoyed at them for not ever giving you the cards for these. But no, they're giving their due. They put them in to make sure that you've got the Zombiver versions of the original people, which is brilliant. The quality of card is as the original game. The token components are of the same thick card that was in the original box set. These are the double doors for the Toxic City Mall. My only gripe would be the interior doors are these tiny little ones, and they're very easy to lose and just not very good. When you compare it to the old size door card, they're really skimpy. I'd much rather if they'd kept to those and just added a few more of these doors rather than going over to these small little thin doors. I find these much better. The tile component of this game is the usual high quality card which we had from the original game, and the layout of the maps are really good, with indoor rooms and, let me slide it back this way a little bit, and what's called hallways or indoor alleys or roads, which you can see completely along like the original game's outside, say like that, while each individual room will be opened individually. So yes, the quality of the art and the layout is pretty good. You get 4 of them. It would be nice if you could have got a few more, because you could have made your Toxic City Mall really huge, and that would have been really fun. But no, all in all, good quality, and there'll be enough to give you a small shopping mall. The card components. The mini cards are like the original game. They're very well laid out, very clear, with a nice green border on the face side, so that you know these are toxic ones, and a little toxic symbol up in the corner. But as you can see, when you flip them over, they look exactly like the standard zombie cards. You get loads more wound cards of the same card as the other wound cards, but they're giving you a lot more because the Zombivers take a lot more damage than the normal survivor. The equipment cards, there's some interesting pieces of equipment in this one. There's a lot of ultra red pieces of equipment which you can only use when you get to red experience. And then you got Par's gun, flamethrower, laser pointers, assault rifles, a spear change for the shotgun, 4.4 magnums, extra pans, hollow point bullets, cookies, and gas masks, which are good for if you're taking on the toxic zombies. The survivor miniatures and Zombiver. Nima's miniature here is quite nice actually. She's got a nice pose and her outfit looks right. I changed the colour from the cards because I thought of her as a businesswoman leader, and the pink and red that she was wearing in the card didn't look quite right to me when I tried to paint it that way. So I painted her in more greys, and yeah, I think her miniature looks pretty okay. I haven't painted her Zombiver yet, but yeah, the pose actually looks pretty good on the Zombiver and on the Survivor. So yeah, I quite like Nima. Elsa, I find her pose very two-dimensional. It's very hard to see any sort of dynamicness to it, if that's such a word. She's meant to be a cat burglar, Elsa, and not really who you'd picture when you say the word Elsa. Might be something else brought to mind, but judging by the outfit, this is definitely not Disney's Elsa. The Zombievers miniature is okay. I'm not particularly sold on that one. Raoul, I think looks pretty good actually. He looks like his picture, so that's really good. And yeah, he's a bit more dynamic, a bit more heroic looking, you know. Yeah, so I quite like the miniature for Raoul. The Zombiever miniature, I'm not sure if he looks much like the Raoul standard survivor, but maybe once he's painted he'll look a little bit more like him, and that'll be good. But yeah, not bad, and he's much more dynamic, which I like. And Derek, well, as you can see here, I've painted actually the Zombiever because I thought he was the survivor and the other miniature was the survivor. So I've actually painted them the wrong way around. But as you can see, yeah, they're nice. Both of them are very dynamic poses. And yeah, I like them. I think they're probably the nicest looking of the survivors in this set. I thought it was a nice touch that they added the miniatures from the original game for the Zombievers. So here, as you can see, this is Doug as a Zombiever, and yeah, that's a nice dynamic pose. My only maybe criticism is Doug Zombie looks like he really hits the gym compared to the Doug that you come in the base game. So maybe zombies go to the local gym every now and again and get their six-pack worked on. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a nice looking miniature. So the next one is Phil, and yeah, Phil I think looks pretty cool actually. His magnum is huge, but yeah, Zombie Phil, I think yeah, it looks pretty cool. He's got a little bit of his hair is suddenly turned into I can't remember his name from Street Fighter, the one who likes combing it when he beats people up. I can't put it in the bottom below if you can, because that'll annoy me now. But yeah, he's got a bit of windswept hair, which is kind of different to the other model, the normal survivor. But yeah, I kind of like him. He looks pretty cool, and yeah, like that. So next we got Wanda, and dare I say that the Zombiever version of Wanda is better than the original Survivor model. I much rather her pose, wielding the chainsaw above her head, and yeah, a much nicer pose. Kind of wish that was the pose for the original Survivor. Then we got Amy. Yeah, the pose for Amy's not too bad. It's a little bit more static, but no, she's sort of slumped to one side with a katana hanging. Yeah, no, that's not too bad. I don't mind that miniature at all. And then we got some that I haven't painted yet. So this is Ned. It's a bit hard to see because of the bright shiny plastic, but yeah, he's not bad. He looks like Ned, and is suitably scruffy. Next we got Josh, and Josh, yeah, I think he looks pretty much like Josh should look. He's a bit more ghoulified, if that's such a word. But yeah, no, I think that the Zombievers were a very nice touch to add to this box for the original characters. They could have easily released it as separate and expected people to go out and get them. So I like that they've added them into the box set. The zombie miniatures in Toxic City Mall, I honestly don't think are quite as good a quality as those that were in Season 1 Zombicide, the core box. Here you can see the toxic fatty, and he's not bad looking. And then you've got some that I've painted, and as you can see, they got a decent amount of detail on them. And I would probably say that the toxic fatties are probably the best quality of the zombies in the box. The runners, these I don't find particularly good. The poses I don't particularly like, and I don't think the miniatures, they don't give you anything extra from the original runners. If anything, they're not quite as nice. The standard walkers are okay. They're dressed in some modern outfits, which made a bit of a difference, seeing that the normal walkers were dressed quite old-fashioned, with suits, and the ladies had beehive hairstyles, etc. While these women look a little bit more modern, maybe a little bit streetwalkerish, but they're okay. But the poses just look weird, even when we get to some painted ones here. I just find that, I don't know, their poses are weird, and the miniatures just haven't got the detail that the originals had, which was a bit of a shame. The abomination, as you would imagine it being a toxic abomination, is even more spiky than his regular counterpart. Yeah, there's not really much more to say other than the miniatures are okay. They're not particularly brilliant. I would say they're slightly worse quality than the original game, which is a shame because they were really good miniatures. And of course you don't get as many miniatures in this box set because it was an expansion and not a standalone game. So, final thoughts and review on Toxic City Mall Zombicide. The first full expansion for Zombicide. I would say, is it worth its money? For me, yes, probably just. I'm not keen on the Zombivers, as I said. The gameplay of them, I'm not that keen on. The miniatures are actually quite nice. I quite like them. Could even use them instead of your standard survivors as an injured version, say. The zombie miniatures, I'm not keen on. I don't like the poses. I don't like that they've got all these spiky bits sticking out of them, which makes them look very strange. But I get that they're toxic zombies. They're meant to be a bit strange. The rules are really good. Like I said, the barricades and rubble are okay rules. Ultra Red is a brilliant idea. I like Ultra Red, where you get to the red area and you can suddenly use much more powerful pieces of equipment, which is really kind of cool. Zombivers, like I said, I don't personally like them very much, but it makes the game easier. So if you're finding the original game hard, this would make it easier. The toxic zombies make the game slightly harder, because obviously it's giving you something else to think about. You can't just rush in and attack everything when you've got the toxic zombies, because they can poison you, which is the whole idea. It changes the gameplay slightly, so that that's okay. I don't mind that. Overall, the quality of everything is perfect. Like I said, the miniatures I'm on the fence about. They're not brilliant, but they're not terrible. The board is really good. The cards are really good. The equipment adds some interest. You've got some new weapons which will give you a bit more firepower, which is is pretty good. The characters are okay. The characters are okay. They don't add an awful lot to it. I don't think they're as good a characters as came with the base game. But still, it adds people to the game, so that's good. The more people they add, the better, to be honest. So overall, yes, it's a good expansion. Could they have done better? Yeah, I think so. But I still would give this game a healthy score of 5. The base game I said I reckon was 6, and I would give this Toxic City Mall a 5. It's not quite as good, but it's not bad because it's a good bit cheaper too, and it adds boards, characters, things, and equipment, things which you can always do with more. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.